Hello, Mets fans. It's Tim from the Amazing Mets podcast, and on today's episode, we will be going over everything that went on during the All-Star break. We will go over possible trades we can make going into the trade deadline, and I will give my mid-season MVPs for the New York Mets. So we're gonna start off talking about our All-Star weekend. So the first night of the All-Star weekend, if you guys didn't know, it was the Futures game, and we had one prospect playing. It was Anthony Kay. He did pretty well. He had a strikeout and got out of the inning scoreless, only allowing one hit, and he bounced back pretty well, which is pretty good to see from our young pitcher, probably our closest pitcher to making it to the major league with some youth in him. But it's definitely good to see some of our farm play at a high level of competition and do well in there. So it was good that night. He went against some pretty good talent in the minor leagues. I think he faced out of the 3 or 4 batters he faced, I think 3 of them were top 100 prospects. So it's always good to see him not backing down from a challenge and just going up and winning it. So it was good to see him. He mixed in his curveball, his fastball, pretty well. But yeah, it's just a good lefty to have in the rotation a little bit. And the next day, of course, it was Pete Alonso who took the home run derby. He had 57 home runs. In the first round, he faced Carlos Santana, got out of that pretty easily. And then he faced the surprising upset, you could say, Ronald Acuna Jr. It was a good battle there, but Pete Alonso obviously pulled it out there, and then he had to face Vlad Guerrero Jr., who had to grind to get to that spot, barely inching out over Jock Peterson. So so it was a great day there. We started off tough in the first round against Carlos Santana, as his pitcher, who is his cousin, didn't throw him any strikes. I believe the first 3 pitches he had to take because they just weren't hittable pitches. But throughout the rounds, his pitcher progressively got better, which is very good. If not, he probably wouldn't have beat Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s score of 23, I believe, in the championship. But yeah, Pete Alonso, what a night for him. It's good to see him dominate. He was the favorite going in, and he won it. He proved to everyone he deserved to be the favorite. He had the most home runs going into it, as Christian Yelich dropped out due to a back injury. But yeah, it's always good to see a Met win something, as that's probably the only thing we're going to see someone win this year other than him. Hopefully. Actually, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say he has a good shot of winning Rookie of the Year, as McNeil has a good shot of winning the batting title. But once again, that's a hopefully. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying it's hopefully. But that was pretty good there. Just a great night overall. But yeah, and going into the All-Star game, Jacob deGrom, he had what a night. He pitched 1 inning, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 1 strikeout. And only in 7 pitches of work. So he was just dominant. He even had to face Mike Trout to get him out too, who he struggled against last year in the All-Star game as he let up a home run. So I guess it was good getting revenge on probably the best player in baseball right now, as he hit a home run off him last year. But it's always good to see Jacob deGrom dominate. But it was good. It was a very good All-Star weekend. I had a lot of fun watching all the guys who participated: Jacob deGrom, Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, and Anthony Kay, as they are all part of the Mets' foreseeable future, as Pete Alonso, only 24, Jeff McNeil, I believe, 27, Jacob deGrom, only like 31, and Anthony Kay, 24. Yep, September call-up the season, opening day next year. So, going into our next topic, I'm going to be giving my mid-season awards. So going into the All-Star break, Going into the All-Star break, we have a 40-50 record. We are in 4th place in the National League East, 13 games back from the Braves, who are in 1st place. We are 7 games back of the wild card, so we are definitely underperforming. We are definitely the favorites. Probably, I would say we were kind of the favorites going into this year. We had a lot of hype going in. We just made a big we just made a lot of big moves. Our general manager was going in on everything. But yeah, it just hasn't paid off as we can clearly see, as our bullpen has been sucky. Has been underperforming, as I should say. Our offense has been surprisingly good. Shut down for a few days, actually. It shut down for a week, but now it's like actually it's making its way back against good competition now. But hopefully that continues. We just had a huge break from our last game and to tomorrow being Friday. But we're gonna go to our 2019 first half team leaders going into the All-Star break. For batting stats, Jeff McNeil leads us in batting average, 349. He also leads us in on-base percentage, being 409. So he's kind of playing the Brandon Nimmo role of last year, just as a higher average, as Nimmo had a very high on-base percentage last year, but not like McNeil. McNeil doesn't get hit that much. He just gets hit and gets on base, always makes contact for the most part. But now for our slugging percentage, it's Pete Alonso, 634. Pete Alonso also leads us in OPS with 1.006. Also leads us in home runs with 30, of course, as he also is second in the MLB. I believe one behind Christian Yelich, and home run derby champion of 2018. He leads us in RBIs with 68, being Pete Alonso. Surprisingly, Michael Conforto leads us in bases on balls with 48. And yeah, so those are our batting stats. It's not too terrible. It's always good to see our two young studs, Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil, basically carrying us for the most part in all the stats except Michael Conforto with walks. But yeah, I hope the team could catch up to their level, as that's basically our only two pieces of offense that are consistent in their roles in the team. But yeah, so going into our pitching stats, we have Jacob deGrom, 3.27 ERA. Definitely not what we expected from last year, but it's virtually impossible to replicate what happened in 2018. But I'm pretty satisfied. If he can get that to a sub-3 ERA, I'd be very content with the contract we gave him. He also leads us in WHIP with 1.07, FIP, with 3.14, which shows he's kind of getting unlucky on the mound, because FIP gives you like a better representation of what your ERA should be. It has its flaws, but that's what it should be for the most part. So, opponent batting average, Jacob deGrom leads in with 229. Which is pretty solid. He had that one pretty rough stretch as He had that one little rough stretch where he came off the cold, where he had the strep throat as he was coming back from that and all that. He led up like 5 runs against the Braves, a few runs against the Brewers. He just had that bad week, which is the main factors on why his stats are not as they were last year. I would say that little sickness set him back a little bit. Jacob deGrom also leads us in strikeouts with 138. Zach Wheeler has done the most on the mound with 119 innings of work. And not surprisingly, but Edwin Diaz leads us with 19 saves, with a few blown saves on the side, but we don't need to get into that. But yeah, so those are our team leaders for the 2019 first half. Hopefully we can see more of a variety of contributors by the end of the year. Maybe guys like Robinson Cano step up, Wilson Ramos step up, Michael Conforto step up. Just guys like those. Maybe Dom Smith gets a little more playing time depending on the trades we make this trade deadline. But yeah, so maybe Brandon Nimmo comes back and does what he did last season, but it's gonna be hard as he's been set back by that big injury he had at the beginning of the season. Which leads us into our 2019 first half team awards. Pete Alonso is our MVP. I don't see any debate with that. as he has a good average. I think it's 270 something. It's pretty good. And with 30 home runs, and he's just been dominating. It was definitely between him and Jeff McNeil, but I'm gonna definitely have to go with Pete Alonso on that one. But I think the Cy Young has to go to Jacob deGrom, as there's no one close other than Jason Vargas. But I just can't give the Cy Young to Jason Vargas. It'd just be kind of a little bit weird. But Jacob deGrom, he's been getting a little unlucky this year, but he regardless, he's definitely been our Cy Young and our most consistent starter on the mound. And as much as this pains me to say, I have to pick a reliever of the first half. I have to go with Seth Lugo. Can't be Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz has been so inconsistently good. Like, he's been good some days, and even when he is good, he just has to give you a heart attack, like loading the bases, man on second, or tying run at the or winning run at the plate. It just gives you a lot. It just gives the Mets a lot of stuff to worry about when he's on the mound. But yeah, so that's the reason why he's not going to get it. Seth Lugo is my reliever of the month, or the first half, as he has done. He did very well for the first few months. He has not been good in his last few outings, but he's definitely been our most consistent. He has the best ERA coming out of our bullpen, which is the main reason I'm going to give it to him. And he's just been pretty good for the most part, just not these last few outings, which is why his ERA is where it's at right now. It was originally like 2.30 ERA, but now it's like 3.5 because of his last few outings. But for the most part, he's been pretty good. Our Gold Glove, this was very hard, as everyone's been pretty good, solid lately. Juan Lagares has been pretty good, I guess. But it has to go to my man, Pete Alonso has been pretty good at first, but it has to go to my man, Jeff McNeil. Obviously, Pete Alonso has been he's shown a lot of improvement from the beginning of last year in the minor leagues, where scouts said he wasn't major league ready because of his glove, apparently. But he's Pete Alonso. He isn't getting this award, but he's definitely shown a lot of improvement, which I'm very glad to see. But yeah, it has to go Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil's played everywhere the Mets asked him to, and he's played everywhere great. He's played the outfield very solid, making a few good catches out there. He's played third base very well. Hasn't played there very often. But yeah, so Jeff McNeil's been very solid everywhere. It would be a lot closer if he'd only played strictly infield, but since he's playing outfield and infield very well, I think it's the obvious choice, as he's been very what's the word? He's been very he's given us a lot of flexibility. That's what I'm trying to say everywhere, which is definitely good, and we're very very lucky to have a guy like him, as we haven't had a guy who can play both infield and outfield. Not only the infield and outfield, but he can play it very well. But yeah, so our Rookie of the Year, I'm just going to go through this. Pete Alonso, 30 home runs, won the home run derby. I don't really see how you couldn't give the Rookie of the Year to him. And who else has been a rookie, I guess? Chris Mazza, Stephen Nogosek. I just can't think of anyone else who's been, like, close. Pete Alonso's on track. He's on track to place top 3 in the Rookie of the Year, so I feel like I have to give him the Rookie of the Year for the Mets in the first half. But yeah, so the biggest surprise, I'm going to have to give to Dom Smith. Dom Smith came off a very disappointing last few years, as he had a lot of hype going around his name, and going into the 2017 second half, as he was called up with the quote-unquote future with Ahmed Rosario. But yeah, so he had a very disappointing season last year. He's moved to the outfield. He was very bad out there, but he's been amazing on the bench. He's produced he's produced a lot off the bench. If we didn't have him, it would be a lot different. He's had a lot of clutch hits, putting the dagger in teams in the late innings. He has big hits. And he's just been killing it. what's it called? He obviously isn't going to start over Pete Alonso. I don't want him in the outfield, but he's just a great person to have off the bench. You can just always count on him for base hit most of the time. And even when Pete Alonso gets tired and needs a day off,